Hey there, everybody. It's Ellen Weatherford.
And Christian Weatherford.
And this is Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast, where we rate your favorite animals out of 10 in the categories of effectiveness, ingenuity, and aesthetics.
We are not zoological experts, but we try our best to bring the best and most accurate information we can.
Something just occurred to me as something that would be a fun way for you to try to figure out what animal it is that we're talking about. A listener actually emailed in something recently about an online, like in-browser game akin to something like Wordle. It's called Metazooa.
Oh.
It's like a guessing game where basically like you try to guess what animal is like the intended one, basically.
Okay.
And every time you put in a guess, it tells you what the goal animal's last common ancestor was.
Oh.
With the one that you guessed. So you have to like taxonomically work your way towards the like objective animal.
Uh-huh.
That would be a funny way for you to try to figure out what animal I'm talking about today.
We would be doing that for a while, I think.
That would also involve a lot of Googling on my part. Because a lot of times you'll put in, like, I'll start with, like, an insect or something like that. And they'll be like, what your guess has in common with the one we're thinking of is bilateria.
Okay.
Which is, like, the level of animals having bilateral symmetry.
Okay.
And you're like, okay, that gives me nothing. Thank you. So it's like a process of like taxonomically narrowing down until you can figure out what they're trying to get. Except I did a bunch of test games and I got like 3 different types of bears. And I was like, y'all, there's way more animals than this. Why do I keep getting bears?
This is just Dark Souls Wordle.
How is it Dark Souls? What is Dark? Now, hold on. Quick check. I've never played Dark Souls. Have you ever played Dark Souls?
Barely.
Barely?
Yeah. But just implying that it is difficult.
Oh, okay. Everything difficult is Dark Souls.
Yeah, that's what the internet tells me.
But this week I will be talking about the jack jumper ant. Have you ever heard of this?
No, is this referencing the game, like Jax?
You know what? It's funny that your mind went there too, because so did mine.
Okay.
Like I also was thinking that this had to do with like Jax the game and how like you bounce a ball and then you have to pick up the little metal jacks before the... I don't 100% remember how
that's
it's played.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you bounce a ball and you pick up some jacks. It's a very...
You did it. You won.
It's like a prehistoric game, right?
Yeah.
It's like something people have been playing since like they played it with like sheep bones and stuff. Did you hear... This has nothing to do with the topic. I'm so sorry. We're getting so off topic so fast. But did you hear about... There was this archaeological find where they found this like Bronze Age girl. She was like maybe a preteen or a teenage girl, and she was buried with like 150 sheep ankle bones.
Huh.
Did you hear about this?
No.
Well, so there was like a lot of question about like why was she buried with all of these ankle bones? And one of the like guesses as to like why she was buried with 150 ankle bones is that was kind of like game pieces that people would play with in that time.
Oh.
And the idea was that was just like her loot pile, basically. Those are the winnings of games that she had played.
It's like a kid buried with their like bag of marbles or something.
Yeah, it's like being buried with your like high score printed on your tombstone or something like that, right? Like it's the original gamer girl. Huh. I'm so proud of her.
Huh.
So I also was thinking, Jax, I don't have a ton on the etymology of this entomology, but the name is based on a jumping behavior that these ants do. And I also saw that they might be named after a type of firecracker that's called like a jumping jack. But anyway, the scientific name is Myrmecia pilosula. But there are a few different species commonly called jack jumper ants. These were submitted by Kayla Wood. Thank you, Kayla. Great suggestion. Because once I started like peeling back the layers on this one, I was like, there's quite a lot of meat on this bone. There's a lot to talk about here. And I'm getting my information from Australian Geographic and the Tasmanian government's Department of Health to give you a little bit of a...
Getting an idea here of the geography.
Yes. Now, these are a pretty large ant. They can be up to about 1/2 inch long or 15 millimeters, which is like maybe the length of like one of the segments of your fingers. That's usually how I imagine the size of like an inch is like about one of the segments on your fingers. So it'd be like half of that, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is pretty big for an ant. That doesn't sound that big, but you're talking about an ant. And when ants are big, you notice.
Yeah.
It would be big enough for you to go, wow, that's a big ant.
Yeah.
They are found in, as I mentioned, Tasmania. Do you know where Tasmania is?
It is an island off of the southern coast of Australia.
It is. It is off of the southeastern coast of Australia, due south of Melbourne. And also these ants will be found in southeastern Australia as well. It's just they're kind of in like the highest concentration in Tasmania. So you'll hear the most about them coming from Tasmania. They belong to the taxonomic family of Formicidae, which are the ants, of which there are an estimated over 22,000 species.
Good job, ants.
Yeah, you guys are killing the game. You're doing so good. We'll never run out of topics for the podcast, just based on ants alone.
Do you think that game you were describing avoids picking things like that, like an ant?
I will say it does collapse a lot of, like, it doesn't get into the granular, like, species. So you would type in something like monarch butterfly or like, you know, hammerhead shark or something like that. Like it would, even though there's like lots of different types of hammerhead shark, it would like, it kind of collapses things down, which I think is why I got bears so many times.
Oh,
because
even then.
Yeah. But say there's what, like 10 species of bear versus 22,000 species of ant. But if they're collapsing all of those species of ant into like one prompt, that's going to really give you a sort of heavy mammal skew, I think.
I think their machine learning inherited some megafauna bias.
You hate to see it. You hate to see a vertebrate bias. These ants also belong to a genus called Myrmecia. This genus are the bull ants. They are native to Australia and the surrounding islands, and the name jackjumper refers to bull ants, so members of this genus who jump. So all jackjumpers are bull ants, but not all bull ants are jackjumpers.
Okay.
I'm going to get right into effectiveness
for
jackjumper ants, which if this is anyone's first time listening to this podcast, that is physical adaptations, things built into the animal's body that let them do a good job of the things that they're trying to do. And I'm giving them a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
And I got to start with the thing that like I really fell into the deepest rabbit hole about for these ants, which is their venom.
Oh.
We've talked about a few ants on this podcast. Actually, you know what? You talked about a fake ant when we were talking about venom, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah. The velvet ant.
Yeah. The red velvet ant, having to do with their color and texture, not their flavor.
Although, unless that's what they're hiding. That's what they're protecting.
You know that show, Is It Cake?
Yeah.
Imagine Is It Cake, but ants.
Very high stakes.
That's true. You do not want to get that one wrong. Well, that one was an interesting case because what you mentioned was that they're not ants, but they are wasps.
Yes, a wingless wasp.
Yes. So jackjumper ants can defend themselves with a sting, kind of paying homage to their wasp roots. And these ants in particular are supposed to be, I saw a lot of sources describe them as being very primitive.
Okay.
In the sense that they really resemble the sort of like basal traits of wasps, more so than some other species of ants. What were you about to say?
Let's say, so this is an actual sting, not a bite.
It is a sting.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you look at these ants, the first thing you'll notice is that they have absolutely massive mandibles.
Okay.
They have these giant, just like mouthpieces that stick right out the front. So if you see that, and then one climbs on you and suddenly something hurts very badly, it would be logical to think that thing just bit me.
Sure.
Because like, obviously, right? They have giant chompers, and I feel something pointy that hurts me. Must be the chompers.
Right.
But really what they're doing is they're using their mandibles to just kind of hold you, like grip on and like hold you. If it's like a small piece of prey, they will like hold them down. But if it's something large, they will just kind of grip on with their mandibles. Yeah. And then they sting using the stinger.
Now, I have to assume the bite is also not pleasant, but it is quickly overshadowed by...
You have bigger problems.
Yeah.
There's something worse happening to you. So now the sting itself is really painful. Like it hurts a lot. But the bigger concern is the reaction that a person's body can have to the venom.
Yeah.
So in Tasmania, about 3% of the population is estimated to have an allergy to the jackjumper ant's venom. And to put that in a little bit of perspective, that is more than double the rate of allergies to other insect venoms like bees. Like when we talk about insect venom and stuff, usually the risk of someone having an allergy to that venom is kind of like a side note. It's like, you might have an allergy to it. It's pretty likely that people have an allergy to jackjumper venom. I don't know why it is that way more people are allergic to jackjumper ant venom than to like any other insect sting.
Now, is this specific to people of Tasmania, or is this kind of apply globally?
I think this has only been studied on populations in Tasmania because this is the only place those ants are regularly found.
Sure.
I don't think you would be checking for this allergy outside of Tasmania.
Sure.
Because you wouldn't be likely to come across them. So I don't know. I don't know if anyone's checked. Like, is this a species-wide allergy?
Right.
Like, is there just something about humans in particular? But there's another interesting thing about it where if you do have a severe allergic reaction to the venom once, you are far more likely than with any other type of venom to respond to it the same way again. So like you get stung, you have like anaphylactic shock. You have a 70% chance of having anaphylaxis again the next time you get stung. Whereas with other types of insect venom, they tend to fluctuate a little bit more. Like sometimes you'll have a bad reaction, sometimes you might not. Like you might have anaphylaxis one time and then just kind of swelling and irritation the next time. It might not be the same way every time, but with this particular type of venom, once you get it once, you're more sensitive to it after having it once.
Interesting.
At the Royal Hobart Hospital in Tasmania, jackjumper ants are the number one cause of anaphylaxis.
Oh.
So anaphylaxis is an allergic reaction. It's a full body allergic reaction. It is where you could break out in hives. The biggest problem here is like respiratory issues.
Right.
So like this could cause you to either like your throat closes up or something that causes you to like stop breathing. I've had anaphylaxis. Have you ever had anaphylaxis before?
No, can't say I have.
I've had an anaphylactic reaction. Luckily, thank goodness, I was in a hospital already, and I was having a reaction to a medication I was given. So I happened to be in the right place to have an anaphylactic reaction.
Right.
It is scary, and it happens fast. Like I received a medication and within like minutes, my whole body was breaking out in like a rash and hives, and I could feel my like throat closing up and everything like that. And luckily, since I was in the hospital, they could address it immediately and nothing bad happened to me after that. But imagine that this happens to you out in the bush, right? Like you're out hiking, you're out, going for a walk where you're not like, you don't have immediate access to like medical attention.
Right.
That could be really, really bad. And this venom can cause cardiac arrest in a median of 15 minutes. That's the median. So like it can be a lot shorter than that. It can be like 4 or 5. It can be longer than that, but like the median is 15 minutes. So this is something you got to move. So like in the cases that I was reading about, it sounds like people that like happen to carry EpiPens because maybe they have allergies to other things will just like use the EpiPen. But if you're not otherwise allergic to other stuff and you don't carry an EpiPen, then like you would have no way of knowing that like you were about to go into anaphylactic shock.
Right. Yeah.
So the Tasmanian government's Department of Health actually runs a jackjumper allergy program offering immunotherapy. And this is done out of the Royal Hobart Hospital, like I mentioned. So how this works is that patients can go to this hospital and receive injections of the venom. And it starts in like a really, really teeny tiny amount. You get just a little dose of jackjumper ant venom.
Okay.
And over the course of 5 years, they give you gradually more and more. Like they're building up a tolerance in your body to like build up your body's. It's a vaccination is what it is. Like it's a vaccine against a venom. So like teaching your body how to like respond to this venom in increasing amounts. And the Tasmanian government reports that since the immunotherapy program began in 2001, there have been 0 reported deaths from the jackjumper allergy. Well, people still go to the hospital for it.
Right. Yeah.
But people don't tend to die from it anymore. And that's the sort of thing where like if you know that you have this allergy, you can kind of go and get this immunotherapy so that you can like go outside again without worrying about getting bitten by one of these ants. Because I was watching this Animal Planet video about these ants, and they say in the video you know how they do. They say in this video, the jackjumper ant is responsible for more deaths in Tasmania than snakes, spiders, bees, and sharks put together.
Wow.
I want you to guess how many deaths caused by jackjumper ants were recorded between 1980 and 1999. So that's a 20-year span.
Yeah.
This is more deaths than snakes, spiders, bees, and sharks put together.
I would say 80.
That is 20 times more than it is.
Oh, okay.
It's 4. There were 4.
Yeah.
Which, not to minimize, that's still 4 people that were killed by ants, which is a lot of people killed by ants. But I thought it was kind of weird how in this video they're like, more than all of the sharks and snakes and spiders put together. They wouldn't say the actual number, you know? Yeah. Also, like, they still regularly send people to the hospital. And that's still really traumatic and can cause more problems later on. Like, you can do lasting damage to your body, even if you don't fully die. So they are a legitimate public health concern in Tasmania. Huh. And I had never heard of them. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, same.
I mentioned their mandibles earlier. Their mandibles are really, really long, and I think they're shaped kind of like calipers.
Oh.
You ever seen calipers?
I think so.
Which are usually more of like a measuring tool, I think. But if calipers had like really sharp, serrated edges on the inside. Uh-huh. So yeah, those are just for grappling. They're for like holding down prey. Also, they're for picking things up and carrying them. So when they're carrying things back to their nest, they use them for like holding things up above them.
Oh, this is like straight up or like...
I mean, I think it's like at an angle, like up in front of them. I don't think they do it fully like the leafcutter ants that kind of like hoist the whole thing up.
That's probably why I was thinking of that.
Yeah. But they can be pretty strong because they have to carry, prey that can be much larger than themselves back to their nest. And I'm not going to talk about power scaling here because I already did that. So if you want to hear more about like ant power scaling, go back to the leafcutter ant episode because I talked about it more there.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break to hear from our friends on the Max Fun Network. And when we get back, we'll talk about ingenuity and aesthetics for jackjumper ant.
Now everybody knows that The Greatest Generation has always been Max Fun's go-to podcast for old Star Trek recaps. But what my theory presupposes is, what if it isn't? In a shocking turn of events, Greatest Trek, the comedy podcast covering new Trek, has gone through a temporal wormhole back to the very beginning.
Because we are now reviewing Star Trek The Original Series. That means when you subscribe now, you'll get episode-by-episode recaps of all the 1960s style action and intrigue, along with all the jokes and fun that make Greatest Gen and Greatest Trek the #1 Star Trek podcasts out there. Subscribe now to Greatest Trek on MaximumFun.org.
Hey gang, it's Jesse Thorne, host of Bullseye with Jesse Thorne. We are ringing in 25 years of Bullseye this fall. That's right, listener, 25 years. I started the show in my dorm room at UC Santa Cruz. What does that mean for you? Well, we'll have a whole month of special shows, new and old, for one thing. We are putting on live shows in Los Angeles, New York, and Santa Cruz. Got guests like Adam Scott, Roy Wood Jr., and Rebecca Sugar, just to name a few. And on October 9th, I will interview 25 people in a row. You can watch that live and streaming on our YouTube channel. I hope you'll plan on celebrating with us. That's MaximumFun.org/events. Thanks.
Did you want to try this lime Coke, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Let me try a sip. I don't taste the lime at all in this. This is the bonus Diet Coke with lime taste test. What's the verdict, Christian? What do you think?
That's fine. I agree. It could use more lime. Maybe I could just start adding lime to my own Coke.
We were in the store and you were like, it's just like the song. And I'm like, what song? And you were like, you put the lime in the Coke. And then you just stopped. I'm like, that's not the song. It's supposed to be a coconut. And you were like, I didn't get that far into the song.
I hit pause. It was like, great idea.
Put the lime in the Coke. I've heard what I needed to hear.
I'll take it from here.
Coming from a real Diet Coke sommelier over here.
Well, that's also my kind of secondary Coke.
That's true.
More of a Coke Zero kind of guy.
That's
nowadays.
true. You're an edgy sort of punk Coke Zero guy.
Sorry, Coke Zero sugar.
Anyway, so let's get into ingenuity for jackjumper ants. And if this is anyone's first time listening to this podcast, ingenuity for us is behaviors, things the animal is doing with their body to solve problems that they face and get around their world. I'm giving them an 8 out of 10.
Pretty impressive for an ant.
Well, we've talked about ants in the past where, like, I feel conflicted about the intelligence of ants. Because with ants in particular, and, you know, a lot of other insects, but particularly this is obvious in ants, taken in aggregate, they're very smart. Each individual ant, though,
ants together smart.
Like each individual one, nothing happening in there. Like it's purely like it's like code. They have very straightforward, like, I encounter this stimulus, I have a scripted response that happens when I encounter this stimulus, which is, you know, can be pheromones or can be chemical, like, signals and things that they encounter. But they can have very sophisticated behaviors. There's just not, like, a very intricate decision tree happening, I think. It's just, I see this thing. I have a thing I do when I see this thing. I know I keep talking about Children of Time, but I love Children of Time so much. It's my favorite book. Children of Time is a science fiction novel by Adrian Tchaikovsky, and I'm not going to give away too much of the plot because the plot is an absolute banger. But in this story, ants are used in place of circuitry to make, like, complex computer systems. So where, like, in this world, in the world of the science fiction story, everything is done using, like, engineered and trained ants that respond to, like, certain chemical signals, and then they, you know, otherwise work exactly like a circuit. It's really, really cool. So yeah, I love ants. I have a complicated relationship with scoring their intelligence. But okay, so one thing that these ants in particular are known for is jumping. It's in the name, right?
Yeah.
So when agitated, they can jump up to 10 centimeters high, which is 4 inches. So that's not like, you know, they're not going to be jumping across the room. But don't get right up in their face. Like, I saw one video. I was trying to watch videos of, like, them jumping to see what this looks like.
Yeah.
And the person holding the, like, camera gets their hand, like, right up close to them, like, just over their nest. Which for, like, any other type of ant, that's fine.
Sure.
Because they don't have a lot of vertical, right? But they got their hand, like, right up next to him. And then you can see one of the ants just, like, jump up towards the camera. And then, like, the video ends. I feel like I know what happened next. So it's a real jump scare, right? Like, because these things can just really, like, fling themselves at you. I mean, that is in comparison with things like the trapjaw ant that we talked about back in episode 194. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it launches itself.
Yeah.
Antlion.
Yeah, that's one way
things.
it can do that. It can use that jump for a lot of different things, but one of those things is getting out of an antlion pit.
Yeah.
So the trapjaw ant was able to, like, snap their jaws shut so hard that it flings their whole body backwards. It's called ballistic jaw propulsion, which is a very fun name.
It was not majestic at all.
No, the thing just tumbles. They do not have an exit strategy. Like, they don't have a plan for landing at all because it's about getting out of the situation, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I just need to leave as fast as I can. I don't care what happens to me afterwards. But this one is more of a jump. Like, they're actually, like, pushing off with their legs. So they have to be pretty strong for that.
So is the goal to jump, bite, sting?
Yes.
Okay.
Jump, grab on with the mandibles, and then sting.
Okay.
And they will do this for no reason. Like, they are a lot of times when we talk about, like, aggressive wildlife, I usually try to steer away from, like, describing wildlife as aggressive. You know, I'll be like, oh, they're defensive, they're defending their home. Like, you know, for the most part, you can, like, if you leave an animal alone and you're not provoking them, you're not bothering them, they will probably leave you alone. Not the case for this ant. It is on sight. Like, if you are just kind of too close to their nest, which you very well may not see,
right,
it is immediate. Like, they will jump on you. They do not care. They will immediately run at you. Like, very little provocation needed. And not even in a way, you could just be, like, out walking casually, or like sitting on the ground having a picnic and like doing nothing to them, not even know that they're there, and all of a sudden they're like jumping on you like, hey, get out of my house. So yeah, they're very aggressive. You don't really have to even disturb them or the nest. They're coming for you. They will make themselves your problem. You will know that they're there. Well, so that's kind of why like this allergy is such a problem, right? Because like people who have these really severe allergies and really severe responses to the jackjumper ant, if they don't have access to that immunotherapy, right? Because you have to go to this one particular hospital regularly for 5 years. Like a lot of people aren't going to be able to do that. It's not going to be a great option for everybody. So for people who have these allergies and this ant is so aggressive, it makes people like not able to go outside. And they can sting through clothing too. Ooh. So like you can't even just like layer up, right? Like it can be really devastating. Like you can really like, I was like reading a news article of someone who like left. They just like moved because they were like, we can't do this anymore. Huh. Yeah. So, I mean, just the prevalence of allergy, how quickly it can affect your body in like really serious ways, combined with like the aggression of the ant, means that like everything I was reading from people who live in Tasmania were basically just like, listen, you're going to get stung by these things. Like it's just going to happen. Huh. You will not know what's going to happen, but like it happens to everybody. And like, you don't really know how you're going to deal with it until it happens, but like it's going to happen. If you regularly if you like do gardening, if you do hiking, if you're regularly outside, you will get stung. Huh. At some point, because they just got that dog in them.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Like other ants, they do have colonies with queens, but they don't forage together or lead each other to food. So they're not like leaving pheromone trails that like other workers will follow to like food sources. They're kind of like each worker is going out solo and they're doing like independent hunting or foraging trip, and then they come back and bring back what they found. Now, imagine my surprise when I'm reading all this information about, you know, these types of ants, and I come across the word gamergate.
What?
Now, that's what I said. Do you know what gamergate is?
Just...
that sigh is exactly how I felt. Do you remember gamergate?
Very little details, just more of a vibe now.
Yeah, it was a period of time in like maybe late 2014, 2015, that was just kind of all around a bad time in like video game journalism and like the video game industry in general, I feel like. I'm not going to go into all that. Just know that it's like gamer, like people who play video games, and then gate, the suffix from like Watergate scandal, meaning like a scandal involving people that play video games. Now, in entomology, gamergate, spelled literally the exact same way, is a female worker of like these eusocial insects. So like, you know how when we've talked about honeybees and stuff, there will be like the queen bee, and then all of the workers in the colony are all sterile females. So they're female, but they don't reproduce. Yeah. So a gamergate is when those female workers can actually still reproduce. So they may still have a queen, but the females are not necessarily sterile. They have the capability of reproducing, as opposed to like in honeybees and stuff where workers physically could not reproduce if they tried. So in some species of ants that have gamergates, they have lost the queen entirely, and they instead have a sort of dominance-based caste of gamergates that restrict other females' access to reproduction. Some of them will like mutilate each other so that they physically can't reproduce, or they might just bully them into not reproducing, like into not mating with the males in the colony, or they might even just like communicate with pheromones, like basically just putting out pheromones that say, hey, we're good, we do not need to reproduce right now, don't worry about it. And they just won't, because they'll be like, okay, I guess we're good.
Sounds like some advanced gatekeeping.
Now, you want to talk about gatekeeping. This is a little bit of a tangent, because more like gamer gatekeeping.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I made your joke for you. Don't worry, I got you. This is a little bit of a tangent because it's not from the species, but I did come across a paper on a behavior in a species that does have alpha gamergates instead of queens. Oh. So when you have an alpha gamergate instead of a queen, another high-ranking female could potentially challenge the alpha and overthrow her, right? Because it's not like a queen where like nobody could overthrow the queen because nobody physiologically could do what the queen does. Sure. But when we're all gamergates anyone could overthrow the alpha and
Right.
become the new alpha. So if the attempted coup fails, so an alpha decides she's going to step to the current alpha, she goes for it and then gets wrecked. The alpha, like after the sort of fight is over, she will rub a chemical secretion onto the attempted usurper. So she'll kind of anoint her using her stinger, but not actually stinging her. She's like rubbing a secretion on her. And this is a quote from the paper I read this in. Following sting smearing, the pretender is often immobilized by low-ranking workers. Immobilization can last several days and typically results in the pretender losing her high rank.
Huh.
So it's really like a guards seize her at once sort of move. Like she gets put in ant jail.
Yeah. Huh.
And canceled.
You can't out girl boss me. Who do you think you are?
It's really like she gets just like it's like if you were gonna try to step to the alpha gamergate, you better mean it. You better come correct, because if you don't, it is over for you. You're going in the burn book.
Get excreted on.
So this article that I read this in was called "Pretender Punishment Induced by Chemical Signaling in a Queenless Ant," and that was by Thibaud Monin in Nature in 2002. Not related to this species that we're talking about today. I could not. When I read it, I was like, "That's hilarious." I have to say that out loud. Oh, and a little bit on just like why they're called gamergates. It comes from Greek gamos and ergates, which means married worker. So it's more like gam and then ergate, giving you gamergate, which just through a complete fluke of like etymological serendipity gives you the same word as gamergate.
Now, had that word been around for longer?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Okay. I actually went to like, you know how you can look up trends in word usage over time?
Yeah.
And you can look, and it's like, what is it? It's like a book search, basically, that'll show you like the frequency of word use. If you type in gamergate, there's like a peak in the word in like the 70s. Because of like entomological research talking about gamergates.
Interesting.
So there's like a peak in like the 70s, and then it kind of like lowers a little bit, and then it just like flies off the charts in 2015.
Right.
Pure coincidence that the two words just like happen to have the exact same letters.
I guess the video game journalists don't often commingle with the wildlife research world.
You know what's weird is that somehow threads the needle perfectly of the two things I'm probably the most interested in. Where like of all the people in the world to have noticed the similarities between the two words, it was gonna be me.
Now, say you were at that editing table and said, "Hey guys, maybe we shouldn't because of this." Do you think they would have agreed?
No, I would have been like,
"No one cares."
Yeah, they would have been like, "Okay, it's this weird, obscure thing that sometimes happens in some social insects. I do not care."
Print it.
If it's not copywritten, then run it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the sort of thing that's only interesting to me, but I thought it was very interesting.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
I also find it interesting.
Okay, thank you. Oh, thank goodness. So 100% of the people talking right now found it interesting. You have to say that because you're my husband.
I don't.
Okay, so another thing I kind of gave them ingenuity credit for is their ability to navigate. Because as I mentioned earlier, they don't leave pheromone trails behind themselves as they're journeying out, which begs the question, how are they getting back?
Sure.
How do they know which way to come back? They seem to be relying largely on vision for navigation. They have pretty good vision, especially for an insect or an ant in particular. And they're using things like landmarks and visual features to figure out which way their nest is and go home that way. And this is aided by their tendency to have sort of like one or two preferred foraging sites. So they're sort of making the same trip over and over again. It's not like they're like going out in random directions every day. It's that they have like a spot that they know that they'll go out and come back. So they're kind of making the same trip over and over again. Now, in a 2013 study, scientists were testing the navigational skill of Myrmecia crosslandi, which is a closely related species of jackjumper ant, by intercepting them on their foraging routes and moving them in the dark to random locations they had never been to before, and seeing if they could find their way back, which is hilarious at a conceptual level to me.
Yeah. Just a casual abduction real quick.
Well, it's like, imagine if you were like on your way to work. You're like on your commute, and all of a sudden you get like tractor beamed into the sky by an incomprehensibly large being.
Yeah.
And like they don't do anything to you. They don't like make any measurements. They don't physically interact with you. They just kind of spawn you in a different city.
It's like, I'm just gonna drop this guy in Russia. There you go, buddy.
It had to be like close enough that they would be able to see things and figure out their way back.
Sure.
But it would be like if they picked you up and dropped you off in like Puyallup or something. You know, like, there you go. See if you can get your way back. Just purely messing with you. Like they're just purely like for no other reason. They're just messing with you to see how you respond.
Yeah.
And I've been playing a lot of Minecraft again recently. I know everyone's surprised, but it reminds me a lot of like when you leave your base and you go too far, and then you have to just kind of like get as high up as you can and look around for like, I remember I was near this type of biome. There's one of those biomes over there. Maybe that's it. Like, it must be a lot of that.
Yeah.
That paper was called Mapping the Navigational Knowledge of Individually Foraging Ants, Myrmecia crosslandi. That was by A.J. Narendra et al. In the Proceedings of the Royal Society Biological Sciences in August of 2013. So this was all about like how they are using landmarks and visual cues to navigate their way home. But this raises yet another question, which is how do they recognize which way to go even when they haven't been on that route before? Like, how are they able to see something and go, you know what, I know that thing, that's the way my home is, even when they've never been there before? How do they know? So there was another 2020 study involving putting the same species, Myrmecia crosslandi, on trackballs, which is kind of like the VR treadmills. Have you seen the VR treadmills?
Yes.
Where like you put on the VR set and you can go on this fancy treadmill that lets you like pretend you're walking around.
Yeah.
And like gives you the experience of actually like, so it's moving the pad below you. So when you put an ant on something like that, like a tiny one, it lets you see which way the ant is trying to go without having to like track the ant over a large like area. So they put an ant on a trackball to see which direction they were trying to go in different situations. And one of the findings was that when the ants know that they have like reached the nest, they know that they're like on the nest, they are home, so they don't need to keep navigating. They will walk around in frequently changing random directions. And this is not something that they do when they're away from home. So when they're at home, they just kind of wander around sort of aimlessly. They're just changing direction frequently. So the researchers describe this as a learning walk, with the idea being that they're walking around with the purpose of taking little snapshots of the area from like every possible angle. So they're getting like a Google Maps like 360-degree view of like I want to see what my nest looks like from every possible direction so I know what to look for wherever I am.
I'm pretty sure the Roomba does something like that.
Roombas are very ant-like. Except I think the ants are way better at it than the Roomba, because I don't know how our Roomba keeps getting stumped by the rug.
Maybe we just need more Roombas.
That's true. Yeah. If we had a whole colony.
To do it real quick. They could stack.
I don't think stacking the Roombas is going to help.
Combine suck power.
Well, I think that would just make them slower.
Yeah,
I don't think
probably.
that's helping. Also, ants don't stack on top of each other. On purpose, usually.
Yeah, but the Roombas are puck shaped, so I don't know, make a cylinder.
There you go. Oh, it's checkers rules.
Yeah.
The more you have, the stronger they are. If you keep stacking them on top of each other, they get more powerful.
We're doing tangents today.
I'm having a good time. I'm in a silly, goofy mood. That paper was called The Role of Attractive and Repellent Scene Memories in Ant Homing, Myrmecia crosslandi. That was by Trevor Murray et al. In the Journey of Experimental Biology in February of 2020. And this brings me to aesthetics for the jackjumper ant. You know, I'm going to give them like a 5 out of 10. they're fine. I mean, as an ant, I do find that they have particularly segmented looking bodies.
Oh.
Like their bodies just look, when you look at like a wasp or a bee or something, you can see the sort of clearly defined like head, abdomen, thorax.
Sure.
These look more like a string of beads. Like I'll show you what I mean. I don't know what's going on anatomically as to why they look like this, but they look like, you see what I mean? They're very bumpy looking.
Oh, I like the coloration.
Yeah, they do. They have a black body and they sort of paler colored legs and mandibles, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, it looks fine. Giant, big old buck teeth. That's great. I love that. Just they look pretty on theme for Halloween, I think.
Yeah.
They're fine. That's not the most interesting thing about this animal.
It's hard for an ant to shine like that.
That's true, unless you're a Saharan silver ant. And then that's what you do, is shine.
Yes.
We also did an episode on them. It was a long time ago, but it was a really good one. Now, the end here is usually where we put conservation information for animals. They're not doing bad. They're doing fine. I don't think there's never been a reason to study their conservation. Jackjumpers and other bull ants just happen to love cities and suburbs.
Great.
Suburbs are fantastic for them because they really, really like disturbed soil. So when soil gets kind of churned up, whether that's for landscaping or whatever, gardening, whatever it is that you're doing, that loosens and softens soil. It makes it way easier for them to tunnel into.
Yeah.
So they love it. Big fans. They do great in suburbs.
Are they considered pests?
I mean, yeah, not like garden pests, not like an agricultural pest, but like a human health pest.
I was thinking more they seem like a step or two below mosquito.
I would say a step above mosquito.
Oh, yeah?
In the sense that mosquitoes, yeah, you're probably going to get stung by 20,000 of them.
Yeah.
But it's going to be annoying and that's probably it. Whereas these things are search and destroy, wreck your whole day, possibly send you to the hospital sort of thing.
I bet Tasmania also has mosquitoes.
Yeah, probably. Sorry, guys. You got the worst of both worlds. Now, in an interview with ABC Radio Hobart in 2024, an entomologist named Dr. Simon Grove said that if you have a jackjumper nest somewhere it is not supposed to be, he says, these things, they belong in the bush. They have places where they belong, where they're fine. It is not your backyard.
It's in the environment.
It's outside the environment, not in an environment. There's nothing out there. They probably shouldn't be hanging around, in your yard or in your school or, somewhere where they could very seriously harm somebody. So he suggests pouring boiling water into the nest at night because all of the ants come home and they go inside of the nest at night.
I've heard this for ground wasps too, actually.
Oh, really? We have a lot of ground wasps up here. We have yellow jackets up here.
Which, as much as
Washington.
people talk about it, we haven't had any run-ins, but that might just be luck.
I feel like I've seen them flying around and they do get quite testy. They do not want you being around, but I feel like I usually take the hint pretty quickly and leave.
Yeah.
So we haven't had any problems, but I know yellow jackets are a thing up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he says pour boiling water into the nest, and he says to do it at night, and also he says to repeat it a few times because sometimes you might get a straggler that was out foraging and didn't come back yet. So he said to do it again and again, for a few nights in a row to make sure you get rid of the stragglers. He specifically says, and this is his quote, he says, "Don't do anything silly like putting petrol down a nest and setting fire to it." And that sounds really specific.
Yeah, probably for a reason.
Rules are written in blood, right?
Well, it reminds me of another thing I've seen with wasps. So first of all...
the gasoline cup
Well,
thing.
that's what they're talking about, because they call gasoline petrol.
Yes.
So
I knew that. I watched Bluey. I knew that.
But yeah, there's lots of videos of these are wasps that build nests on roof eaves and that kind of thing.
Right.
And they'll get a cup of gasoline and then cover the bottom part of where that nest is so that the fumes suffocate any wasps that are there. I
mean, that's just going to put you in stinging range. I don't know what you think. I don't know. I wouldn't do that.
I'm so good at not spilling gasoline when I get stung.
That's one of my primary skills, not spilling gasoline. Well, he's talking about pouring the gasoline and then lighting it on fire on purpose.
Yes.
You're talking about just hotboxing the wasp nest.
Sure, but both irresponsible. Maybe one less than the other, but
yeah. Yeah, as soon as I read that quote, I was like, that sounds pointed. Don't do something silly like that, Jeff.
I was thinking the same name.
And that's all I had on the jackjumper ants. I'm always happy to talk about ants. I love insects in general, but getting to talk about an ant is always a treat. And I was just frankly surprised I had never heard of it because of how like big a deal it is, I guess, like that it's like a legitimate like public health concern where they live. I was really surprised I hadn't come across them before. Anyone who like lives in Tasmania or has had any run-ins with jackjumpers or anything, if you have any insight to give, I would love to hear, like, if that impacts your enjoyment of nature or if that's like a thing for you. Because I know a lot of people from Florida would like not go places and like not spend time outside because they were like either afraid of mosquitoes or, you know, like a fear of... I used to have a family member who was so afraid of wasps that he would never be outside, literally never be outside. Like he would like sprint from like the car to the house because he was so scared of wasps. So, you know, I would just be curious to know if that is like as big of a concern, I guess, as it sounds from this research, but also like this is my only exposure to it. So
yeah. Well, so now that you've talked about it, maybe the name Jack Jumper is talking about like jumping a person whose name is Jack.
Hey, Jack, if your name is Jack, watch your back. These ants are coming for you.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, etc.
Or else.
Or else the Jack Jumpers are going to get you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does sound like they are in the habit of jumping people. And it's funny because I was like, usually, you know, I try to really stand up for wildlife and be like, no, they're not aggressive. They're just protecting themselves. It sounds like they will go out of their way. It sounds like they're causing problems on purpose, which is great. Good for them.
See, what they need is an equally acrobatic type of anteater to balance things out. Oh,
that's true. You know what is one thing that like a reason why they have gotten so sort of like aggressive in defending themselves is because of echidnas. Echidnas are a big natural predator for them, but as we mentioned in our echidna episode, they are not doing so hot population wise. Echidnas have suffered some pretty big population hits. So it could be that like the decline of echidnas is making this jackjumper ant problem worse. Nature loves nothing more. Evolution loves griefing ants. It keeps happening all over the world. All over the world, mammals are like, I don't mind if I do. It's like all over like the mammal family tree is something evolved specifically to mess with ants.
There's a lot of really small, tasty things down there. I'm pretty sure.
What are you guys up to in there? There's something delicious happening in there. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. So that's jackjumper ants.
Thanks, babe.
A fascinating creature. And thank you to Kayla who requested them. And thank you to the listeners who have spent all this time live, laugh, learning with us. If you liked what you heard, I would love if you could take a minute to leave some nice words for us in a review on your podcast app of choice. Like Jessica IJ, who said, this is a long one. I started listening to the show a year ago and made it through every episode in just under a year by a week.
Right.
Wow, that's dedication. I loved every minute of it and constantly get excited on Wednesdays when a new episode comes out. I'm a zoology student at a university and love telling my friends random tidbits of information about animals. My favorite memories are meeting up with one of my friends before our class and telling them about the craziest food chain ever that I learned about in episode 31 when Christian talked about orcas eating moose.
Oh, yeah.
And moose eating seaweed, and coming home from class and going straight to meticulously studying the mammal evolution poster hanging above my dorm bed while listening to Ellen talk about colugos in episode 160. Ellen and Christian are so funny, well-researched. At some point, I think you are experts, right? And all-around incredible hosts. I look forward to listening to this for hopefully years to come as it travels with me on my school and career journey. I rave about it to everyone and hope that anyone who hasn't listened to it gives it a try.
That's awesome.
That was so nice. Thank you so much, Jessica. I'm really glad to hear that it holds up to zoology students.
Yes.
Because I'm always, like a lot of people that listen aren't necessarily like, studying academically wildlife or anything like that. So I'm glad to know that among people who are like in the academic weeds, and like that's validating. I'm glad that it holds up to scrutiny.
Very much.
We'd like to thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network with the other amazing shows that they have. If you want to go check out the other shows that they have on the network, learn more about the network and their other shows, and also how you can be a part of supporting our show and get access to our exclusive monthly bonus content, head over to MaximumFun.org. And finally, we'd like to thank Louis Zong for our theme music, which is really delightful and amazing. Some of you might know Louis Zong from making the like ghost duet music, which like becomes all over social media during Halloween, especially.
Yes.
So if you've heard the ghost duet music, that's Louis Zong as well, and he just put out a new. It's called the Ghost Waltz.
Yes,
it's really, really good. So thank you all for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks. Bye.
Maximum Fun, a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.